Welcome back. This is now segment number 4, video segment number 4 of chapter 37, involving all forms of partnerships, including general partnerships, limited partnerships, and limited liability partnerships. If you're trying to get this all in one fell swoop and viewing the video segments one after the other, hopefully you've had a cup of coffee and now you're back ready to get into this last, what will hopefully be the last video segment. So we talked about partnerships and the general concepts revolving partnerships, and particularly general partnerships, and how the rights of the partners and the liabilities of the partners and their duties of fiduciary duties of care and duty of loyalty. A lot of that goes over into limited partnerships and limited liability partnerships. So let's cover those. Limited liability partnerships. You'll see those a lot in situations involving professional organizations like CPAs or law firms. They're very attracted to them, and they combine the best of both worlds because they utilize the pass-through type of tax scenario for the purpose of taxing. The money gets passed through to the various partners in the firm, but you have a limit of personal liability in these professional organizations with a limited liability partnership. So it's a hybrid, combines the best of both worlds. You form that by filing the necessary documents with the Secretary of State's office in whatever state the law firm or the CPA firm may be practicing. And it's used a lot by these types of firms because it helps limit their liability. Now, it's not an absolute limitation of liability. Let's talk about that. You might have a situation in which a partner in the firm is supervising an associate of the firm who's not a partner in doing some type of work. And unfortunately, that results in a situation in which both the partner of the firm and that associate commit malpractice. And so if that occurs, they could be personally responsible and liable, and it could come out of their pocket. But if you, as another person in that limited liability partnership, are a member of that firm and you were not involved in that particular situation, your personal assets would not be at risk. So it's, again, used a lot by law firms and CPA firms, and it does limit liability, but it won't get you off the hook if you are, in fact, the person who committed the malpractice. There's also limited liability partnerships that are family-oriented. You see these on a lot of farms. And so the mother and the father and the kids are all partners in that particular partnership. That's referenced on page 717. Let's move on now to limited partnerships. Limited partnerships go back years and years and years, all the way back to medieval Europe. They've been around for a while. They're used extensively, and people sometimes get them confused with general partnerships. There's a great chart on page 718 that compares and contrasts the concepts and how in the application for general partnership versus limited partnership. It's a great study tool. I recommend it to you. The thing about limited partnerships that distinguish it from general partnerships is that a limited partnership has at least one general partner and then a whole bunch of limited partners. And the general partner is responsible for the management of the partnership and has the full responsibility for the partnership. And that general partner's personal assets, would be at risk. Again, their house, their car, their bank account, because they are the general partner, and they could potentially have personal liability. Whereas the limited partners in that partnership situation, the extent of their investment, if they're just a passive investor in a limited partner, the extent of their investment, the extent of their liability is limited to the amount of their investment in the partnership and no more. How is a limited partnership formed? Well, mostly in most states, the organization, the entity has to file a certificate of limited partnership with the state and give the mailing address and the amount of the capital contribution, usually the agent for service of process who gets served if a lawsuit is filed. So that's on record and so everybody knows that the limited partnership does exist. So getting back to the liability of the general partner, full, their assets are at risk, but the liability of the limited partner is just to the extent of their investment in the partnership, unless that limited partner starts getting involved in the day-to-day operations of that partnership, so that it looks like from the standpoint of third persons that limited partnership is not a partner. It's not just a limited partner, they're a general partner. So if you are a limited partner in a partnership, you're a passive investor, don't go down to where the partnership runs its business and start running the place and start calling the shots. Otherwise, you might be viewed as a general partner, and your personal assets may be at risk. The rights and the duties. Well, the rights and the duties in a limited partnership are essentially the same as what we covered in a general partnership. The rights of the partner, the duties of the partners, rights of the partners, the right to inspect the books of the partnership, to get an accounting of the partnership. Look back, it's pages 709 through 712 of the text to get a review of the rights and the duties of a partnership partners in a limited partnership. And the duties include, again, duty of care, duty of loyalty. So just review all that and know that they both apply. Dissociation and dissolution. Well, a general partner has the power in a limited partnership, has the power to dissociate from the partnership if the agreement calls for it. They can do that. They're allowed to. But there might be a situation, however, in which the general partner might wrongfully dissociate. And what do you do about that? Well, in a situation like that, let's just cover regular dissociation. A dissociation by a general partner might be caused by their death, might be caused by any number of events, might be caused by an agreement in the limited partnership agreement itself. What happens then, though, is that the limited partners are then faced with a decision. If the general partner is leaving the scene, no longer involved in the business, you got to have somebody in that role. So there's one of two choices. The limited partners can then at that point say, well, we should probably dissolve the partnership. Or if they say, no, we got a great thing going here, one of us needs to step up and be general partner, or we need to find a general partner to serve in that capacity so that we can continue that business. If that doesn't occur, then you're in a situation where the partnership will probably have to dissolve this limited partnership. And again, with regard to dissolution, the same sequence of events applies. The limited partnership has to sell all of its assets, all of the cars, all the machinery, all the inventory, get rid of it and liquidate it all. So you have just money. The creditors of the limited partnership are then paid off, including any limited partners or even the general partner that may have a loan to the partnership. All the debts are paid, and whatever is left gets paid off to the general partner and the limited partners per their share of investment in the limited partnership. That's all covered again in page 720 of the text, 720 and 721. Let's see here. The text also makes reference to, in this situation, buy-sell agreements. And we talked about that in the previous video segment. Buy-sell agreement is a situation in which the partner, the general partner, chooses to leave or dissociate themselves from the partnership. And in that situation, rather than have their family member take over, you pay off that partner and you value the assets of the partnership, pay off that partner, and again, try to look for someone else to take over the partnership. And buy-sell agreements are covered more thoroughly on page 722 of the text. And let's see, last segment the text talks about is limited liability, limited partnerships. Don't really, it's one paragraph. Don't even really need to go into that. I think we can just not cover that. But again, the really important thing you guys need to use as a study tool is on page 718, the chart that compares and contrasts the concept of limited partnership versus general partnership. Great study tool. That pretty well covers all of chapter 37. And I didn't cover the, go through the PowerPoint as I should have. I see we have limited liability partnership. This is available to you on Canvas rather. Limited liability partnership, all that. Limited partnership, and that slide. My apologies for not covering that, but you can see that on Canvas and use that as a study tool as well. That wraps it up. The next video segments are going to cover chapter 38. And until then, have a great day, stay safe, and stay healthy.